how the examples I have given in the previous class are executed. In the previous video, I have shown usage of global variables and call by values. A function can be considered as a call by value or a call by reference. Call by reference I did not explain in the previous video because to understand that you need to have a concept of pointers. So call by value I told you, it means function calling from one function to another function is through a value. It is called through a value and it is also returned through the value. Though I am using some variables just to show it to the user that actually this variable value is passed. In fact, variables are not passed. It means the same variable you cannot access there. Anything you do changes there, it doesn't reflect to the variable that you have used in the calling function. So this is what you are supposed to understand. And the other example we are now doing this actually the scope of variables. Scope of variables, so we have seen sometimes it can be well within the block, sometimes well within the function, sometimes well within the program. What is there with the well within the program? They are called as global variables. The one which is there either in the well within the small brackets of a for loop or while loop or whatever it is, they are called as local variables, or well within the function, they are also called as local variables. So we have seen these things in the previous video. I am writing the same program in the computer. I have already typed these programs, whatever I have shown in the board, I have typed the same program in the computer. Now I am running these programs, so therefore you will understand and you will appreciate this. The first program that we will see now is actually call by value. There are two ways by which a program can be called. Right? To understand this particular program, this is a very small program. In fact, the same program I had written on the board yesterday in the previous video. Alright? We will see how exactly this program looks like. See, I am declaring a variable called num. Observe this carefully. Num is a local variable to this function called main. Next, printing. The value of num is, obviously it is 15 here, because whatever value I have assigned, I am printing it. Next, I am calling a function called multiply. Multiply is a function, here it is written, multiply is a function. That function is called by passing a parameter called as a NUM. NUM is a local variable that is now passed. Here you got to understand in this program, when this function means main function, calls another function called multiply, it is passing a value through a variable. It is not passing the variable. Variable is not passed. Only value is passed. Value of num, that is 15, going through the name called NUM. That's it. So you are calling this function. Right? Now observe this carefully. In this function multiply, so since num is an integer, so therefore integer is coming, so therefore n is a local variable in this function. This is a small function. This is a small function. In that, n is a local variable. What is the value of n? N is 15, because this value has come from the calling function. This calling function. So therefore 15 has come here. So therefore what is the value of n? N is 15. So n is equal to n into 10. So n is 15. So 15 into 10, it becomes 150. So n becomes 150. So print the value of n inside the function is n. You are printing this. So therefore it gets printed with 150. So after this you are closing and you are going back here. When you go back here, this NUM value is not changed. NUM value is still, it is 15. I want all my students to observe this carefully, that when you pass a variable called NUM, only its value is passed. So that is why it is called call by value. So only value is going, NUM still it is 15 only. So now after this, after calling this So there it would have printed 150. Now printf the value of num. The value of num is still it is 15 only. It has not changed. Only the value you are sending it through NUM. That's it. So that is why it is a call by value. You are sending the value. You are not sending the variable. So again, when you print here, it is 15 only. You will see that in the function n has become 15 because of num and multiplied by 10. So therefore it is 150 here. So therefore first it prints 15 with this print statement. Then through this multiply statement it prints 150. Again in the main function it is 15, it is being printed. We will run this program, we will see. The value of num is 15. The value of n inside the function is 150, and the value of num is again 15. This you have to understand carefully. So this value called num, though it looks to you that it is going there, you have to understand that variable is not going, only value is going. Only value which is there in num, that is 15, only is going there. So therefore num is a local variable, it is not altered. It is not altered. It is again 15 only. I will rerun this program by changing this value to another number, so therefore you will understand this. So I will change this to, instead of 15, I will change this to 10. So first it will be 10 here, then it will be 10 again here, here it will be 100, right? We will run this program. So value of num is 10, the value of n inside the function is 100, the value of num is 10. So you will be seeing the example with call by value, only values are going. So this is what you are supposed to understand. We will see another program. This I have done in the last class, right? We will see one local variable. How does this local variable behaves, right? Alright, now we will see this. The scope of the variable will be there two kinds. One local variable or global variable. In the local variable also there are two kinds. One is called block variable, block type, well within the block. Second one is well within the function, right? Both the examples I have made it over in this small program. I have already told you, whenever I am explaining the program, don't worry about what this program really does. I am explaining this only for you to understand the local variables, global variables, etc. Okay? Now, in this program, I have made like this, one main function. I have declared one num, with the initial value as 10, right? Then I am declaring a local variable called I. I is a local variable in this main function. So main function will go up to here, right? Alright. So I is a local variable. Printer the value of num in the main function. You know that actually num is 10, so therefore first it prints 10. Right? Next. For I equal to 0, I less than 5, I plus plus. It means I am doing it for 5 number of times. You are already familiar. Whenever you want to do this for x number of times, you can use usually for loops. But I have made a small change over here. What is that? I have now declared one local variable called num. I have carefully chosen the same variable. So therefore you will understand this better. What is this num? Num is a local variable in this function. Num is a local variable in this block. Right? That's why I put the same name. Int num. Num equals to I. So therefore what is the value of num? In this, num equals to I. I is 0. So therefore printed the value of num is num. I am using the same thing over here, but you see here I am printing num. Here what is the value of num? num is 0. Then you are coming here and you are repeating this by incrementing the I value. I becomes 1. I less than 5. Yes, 1 is less than 5. I am declaring one more local variable called num. That num has got, earlier instance it has gone already. Another variable is declared called num. What is the value of num? Num equals to I. So I is the I value. What is the I value? I value is 1. So therefore 1 is assigned to num. So therefore you are printing 1. You are coming here. Right? The validity of num is gone because once you come out, it has gone. Now you are declaring, you are coming back here with the incrementation of I. I becomes 2. I less than 5. I is 2. So 2 less than 5. So therefore you will be doing this. I am declaring one local variable called num. So num is a local variable. What is the value of num? Num equals to I. So I equals to 2. So therefore num equals to 2. So you are printing this value. So like this you will be printing 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 like this. Once it reaches 5, when I reaches 5, so 5 less than 5? No. It is equal. So therefore this is broken. You are coming out here. You should observe this now very carefully. Printer, the value of num in the main again is, now I am printing this num. What is this num? Not this num. I have already told you, life of this num only well within this brackets. Life of this num is only within this. Now when I say num, what is this num? This num is belongs to this. Now what is the value of num there? It is 10. I have not done any modification on that num. So therefore that 10 again is printed. Observe this carefully. When you see the result, first it prints 10. Then it prints 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. After that it prints 10 again. You see this? You can observe this. The value of num in the main function is 10. Then print the value of num 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. When it has reached 5, it has come out of the loop. The value of num in the main again is 10. Again, that same num is used back. You can see here. This num corresponds to the main function local variable. This num is local variable in this block. This num is valid only in that block. Once you go out of the block, gone. Again you have to do the redeclaration. So this is how the local variable works. Life of local variable, how does this goes? Right. In the previous video, I have explained to you how exactly this global variable's response. Global variable life is longer. You will be declaring the variable outside and the life is for the entire program. So we will see with an example. I have already typed the program. We will see that. Okay. First of all, let us understand this program. What is that program that I have done? So I have written a program including, see, observe this carefully. I have written one integer variable called stat, STAT. It's a variable. It is of type integer. Its initial value is 10. But I have declared this outside any functions. I have one function called main up to here. There is one more function called 1. Here it ends. It is not written within the function. It is written outside any functions. In this example, I have two functions. If there are 10 functions are there, not inside it is written outside. Then it is called a global variable. Right? So stat is a global variable. What does it mean? You can access it anywhere. Not like a previous example I showed it to you, where num is a local variable, only well within that. Now, STAT becomes global variable. It is accessible anywhere. Just to make you to understand, I have done a lot of modifications. Once in the main function, once in the called function, again I am coming back here doing some changes over here. Is that reflected? Yes, we will see that. Right. Now I am coming to the main function. I am declaring a local variable called I. For I equal to 0, I less than 5, I plus plus I. Means I am doing this loop, for loop, 5 number of times. What is that I am doing? Print the value of stat is stat. And what is the value of stat? It is 10. Next, stat plus plus. Stat plus plus, it is incremented. It becomes 11. Then again it is done. That is printed. Increment this. It becomes 12. Increment. 13, 14. Like this. 5 number of times it is done. When it has reached 15, this for loop is broken. So you are coming out. So therefore it prints 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. But stat has already become 15. Now I am coming over here. I am calling a function called 1. I am calling a function called 1. 1 is a function. I am not sending anything. No need of sending anything. Because stat is a global variable. It is accessible anywhere. So therefore I am not sending anything. But I am calling a function called 1, which is a local function. It's a local function. getch is a function which is written inside the stdio.h. So just to wait for something, right? So this is not our function. This is our function. One is written here, right? What is that one I have done? You go down. In this one function, I have declared one local variable called I. See, this I is a local variable in a function called main. I is a local variable in this function, so nothing to worry. You can keep the same name. For I equal to 0, I less than 5, I plus plus. I am doing this for 5 number of times. What is that? Each time I am incrementing stat. But I am not printing anyway, I am now simply incrementing it. You can do the printing also. You would have seen incremental printing. Anyway, I am incrementing this 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 it has become. Now print the value of stat inside the function. I am printing this. So stat is now increased from 15 to 20. Then get character, wait for some keys. After that, go back here. Just go back here. Then print up the value of stat after the function. Once you call this function, this is over, and again you print this. You can still print it. You can access this. So some modification is done here. After that, some modification is done here. I am printing it over here. It is reachable. It is accessible. Anywhere you can access this. Right? We'll say run this program and see how does this behaves. Right? The value of num in main function is 10. Then the value of num is this one. The value of num in this one. In the main stat is 10. Sorry, this one. The value of stat is 10. The value of stat is 11. Value of stat is 12. The value of this is 13. 14. See, this is the previous program. So that's why I am getting confused. Let us write on clear screen, so therefore you will understand this. First we will write on clear screen here. So therefore you will. Here I am writing clear screen. This is a function written in stdio.h for you to clear the screen. Now I run this. So value of stat is 10. Value of stat is 11, value of stat is 12, the value of stat is 13, the value of stat is 14. Now stat is a global variable accessed inside the main function so many number of times it is accessible. After that, you are now calling 1. 1 is a function. You are calling this function. So what is that? There also it is incremented 5 times. I have already told you. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. So 5 times it is incremented. So therefore it is 20. Now I am printing this. Within this one function. After completing this one function, you are going back to the main function, and there again I am printing the value called stat. You should tell me what is it should print? It should print again 20, because what is the value of stat? Stat is 20, it has already become. So therefore it is printed. You can see if I press any key, it again prints the same. The value of stat after function is again 20. It means I have demonstrated to you that stat is a global variable accessed anywhere. It is accessed in one function. It is accessed in the main function. Before going to a called function, I have printed. After calling function, I have printed. Then again coming back and I have printed. The declaration of global variable, you should be careful. You should do outside any functions. So that is what you are supposed to understand. I have demonstrated. I will show you the program again. So this comes here. So 5 times it is incremented. Then I am calling a function called 1. There also it is incremented again. Then coming back here, print this. So therefore, in any of this case, the stat value is not changed. So this is how the local variable and global variable are getting changed. And so this, you have to be very, very careful while choosing this. Another thing, while declaring these global variables, not necessarily you should define in the beginning. You can do it anywhere, but you should not write within the functions. It should be outside the function, then it becomes global variable. You can write this here also, below the program also, last line, you can do that. And even this include stdio.h looks better if you write it in the beginning, not necessarily. You can even write it below that also. They are called as a preprocessor directives. These preprocessor directives start with hash symbol, and you will be using them to include certain things. You can as well write it anywhere, but not within the function. Anything outside the function, anywhere you can write. So there is no restriction, but it's better you write it in the beginning. It will be clear for you. So that's how you should use it.